Ah, yes. Good day, everybody. Haha. Okay. So how many people do we have here now? That's 26. That's fine. That's fine. All right. So I welcome everyone to this interesting. I'm coming. Let me share my screen. Okay. All right. Okay. So welcome everybody. Good evening. Evening. If you're from Nigeria, if you're from other parts of the world, well, good day. So I welcome you to this interesting webinar. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Hello, anybody? Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, you are.
Beautiful. All right. Okay. So I welcome you once again to this webinar. Today webinar. There's so much to tell you. There's so much to talk about. We'll try our best to ensure you have a very good time. By God's grace, we would all have some very powerful insights to take out of here. So we'll be talking about the main theme for this 2-day training is discover the gems of the world of project management. Discover the gems of the world of project management to 10x your professionalism at work, boost business performance, and become the true leader people love. That's quite ambitious, right? Mr. Bayomi, do you agree? Does that sound ambitious?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Okay, let me start by introducing myself. I'm Oladeji Oluwaseyi. My name is Ibrahim Kaizin Oladeji. I'm a certified project manager. I'm a member of the John Maxwell team. I'm a project management coach. I teach project management. I specialize really in helping people blast the PMP exam. And I've been doing this for like 4 years now. And so far, thank God, we've had tons and tons of success stories. We've trained well over 15,000 people in different countries across the world, in different organizations, to blast the PMP exam and then to also do some other project management related activities. Let me tell you a little bit about myself for you to be able to understand why I'm this passionate about talking about project management. Okay, I have 1 hour. I'll try not to go into too much story. I finished from computer science around 12 years ago. Finished from computer science. I did computer science, went into industry, worked for some years, worked on some very big projects. By 2012, 2013, I decided to quit to start my own firm. And it was interesting. It worked out very well, but there was a problem. At some point, some of those who were really pushing jobs to me, they left their positions. Then it became a problem. I had a company. I wasn't getting jobs. Okay, so what do? I had some little funds. So I said, let me set up a small startup. Let me, as a programmer, we think with our fingers. We just want to build the next big software, So we set up a company. We started building software. The first startup, we built the software in like 9 months. The team built in like 9 months. It was one interesting solution. Unfortunately, we realized that people couldn't buy it. We somehow were not we didn't factor in so much well. So we failed. Summarily, we failed. Okay, no problem. Persevere, keep pushing, you know, the normal way now. Don't drop out. So we started the next company. Then we failed. Then we started the next company again. Then we failed. The next startup. Then we failed again. Wow. Then that was a big issue. I lost almost all the confidence I could have. I lost a lot of belief in myself and so much and so much. But I noticed something. One of my mentors called me to a particular point. He said, you need to study yourself and try to see patterns in your failure. And then I took out time. I actually took out time and studied how my life has gone in the past few years. And I realized a pattern. I realized that, number one, a lot of us technical people, we kind of always believe in our technical skill. Not even technical people, a lot of us, we think that the skills required to build a company is just technical skill. Maybe you're an engineer, or maybe you are a programmer, whatever you are. You think that that is just the skill you need. Once you're a very good programmer, then you should have a good company. Once you're a good engineer, you have a good company. That's is a fundamentally flawed opinion. So I took my time and I realized that there's a consistent pattern. There's a similar pattern in the sources, the reasons for a lot of my failures. And then I realized that I had very poor issues with stakeholder management. I had very poor issues with risk management. I had very poor issues with managing people. I had very poor issues with setting up a company. I had very poor issues in quite a number of these areas. Oh, beautiful. Interestingly, I was PMP certified at that time, but somehow I was really not too into it. So in the midst of all of this, I started volunteering for people. I started trying to pick my life up from where I stopped. And gradually, I realized that I was beginning to get better at teaching people. And then I was beginning to realize that, look, to be able to succeed in life, you need to really do much more. It's not just important. It's not just enough to think the technical skill you need is just enough. So you need to work more on yourself. You need to blow up your understanding. You need to blow up your knowledge of how to build things, of how to manage things, of how to actually bring up initiatives from start to finish, execute, and be able to deliver very, very well. Luckily for me, I was able to get myself together, start working a lot more on myself, and by God's grace, I was able to, bounce back, and, here I am today. Why did I tell you this story? The story is, I want us to understand something, and it's the fact that a lot of us today, we are fine. Yes, we are fine. We are in our roles, we run our businesses, we run our companies, and we think all is fine. Yes, all is fine, but there's a problem. How well are we preparing for what is coming? How well are we, making ourselves to future-proof our careers, future-proof our businesses from a lot of change that is happening around us today? Okay, now, let me stop at that. Sorry, can you kindly mute your mic? There's somebody's mic that is, okay. Okay, let me start with the Kazin tribe. Let me tell you about the Kazin tribe. The Kazin tribe is a group of people, you and I welcome you to the Kazin tribe, of people who want to keep growing, who want to consistently improve, of people who want to, work on themselves. Even if it's just 1%, they want to keep growing, they want to keep improving. So if you, like I mentioned, introduce myself, I said I am Ibrahim Kazin. Well, I actually adopted the name Kazin. Sorry, Mr. Abubakar, I'm muting you. Okay? So the Kazin tribe, we have our anthem. We have 4 things in the anthem. Number 1 says, we seek ways to enhance our productivity. We are thirsty to boost performance. We love to continuously grow and improve. We are Kazin. Beautiful. So on that note, let me officially now start the training. Okay, so I have something on the screen here. What is this? What do we see? From what you can see here, you can see a rat. You can see a jar. And then you can see some grains in the jar. Okay, so what message is this passing across? What exactly are we looking at? There's a story to this. Let me tell you the story. The story goes thus. A man actually put some grains in the jar and then put a rat on top of the grains. Why? To teach us a lesson, to teach you an important lesson. Okay, so the rat was very happy. This is beautiful. Now you have put a lot of my food in one single location. I don't need to start running around. I don't need to start looking for food. At least for now, I have food to eat. And then the rat started eating, and eating. And then what happened? Can we guess what happened? The rat kept eating, and then it got to a point that yes, the rat was fed, but there was a problem. The rat couldn't get out of the jar. The rat, of course, had food in his stomach, but the rat couldn't get out of the jar. Okay, so what lesson is this telling us? This is reminding us of a basic principle of life. And that is the principle that we need to always evaluate our circumstances. We should not be complacent about today. It's not just enough about getting food for today. Yes, it's good. Of course, that you get food for today is very good, excellent. But ask yourself, are you moving in the right direction? Are you contextually aware of your surroundings? Are you able to predict what exactly is going on? Can you read trends to realize that are you on path to greatness, or you are on path to being stuck? You know, the fact that you are able to get food today does not necessarily mean that you are on the right direction. At every point in time, you are supposed to keep evaluating, to keep asking yourself, am I on track? What is around me? In my career, what is the trend? What is going on? What do I need to do now? What do I need to keep doing? Where am I headed? What am I doing? What is coming? What are the big things in the industry? Okay, now I have a business. What is happening? What are the government regulations around what I do? What are the uncertainties that could either come in the form of opportunities or come in the form of threats that I have around me? And many more lessons are what we can take out of the story of the rat. How is this related to project management? Yeah, I'm coming. All right, so we'll be answering some basic questions today. Let's start with the first question, and that is to discuss the what of project management. What do we mean when we say project management? Okay, let me just call up some people. Let me just hear some people's opinion about what they understand project management to be. Or, okay, anybody, let me just ask maybe 2 or 3 people. What do you understand when you hear project management? Yeah, quickly, anybody. Hello, anybody? Project management, can you hear me?
Hi.
Okay, Mr. Abayomi, over to you.
Okay, I will start the definition of project management from the word project. So to me, project is just a temporary endeavor that has a start and a finish. So using management is all about the technicality, that somebody to ensure what you are starting it and ending it well, to ensure the goals, because every project, it is assumed that you must have some vision, you must have some layout goals that has to be smart. The management aspect of it, it's about telling us how well are we been able to use the tools to ensure it is well delivered and it meets the benefit.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Bayomi. Okay, Mr. Deyoju, you have your hands raised. Okay, Mr. Deyanju. Okay, anyway, Madam Khadija Kolapo, you also have your hands raised.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, Mr. Deyanju, Madam Khadija, we'll come back to you. Mr. Deyanju, quickly, over to you.
Yeah, okay.
Quickly, we're out of time. Okay, seems
Project
like...
management.
Okay, Madam Khadija, over to you.
Okay. Project management is the, should I call it a process? Okay, like you already defined what a project is. So project management is the process of seeing that of managing yeah, you have a goal in mind, you have something you are doing. So the process of making sure that thing gets to the point where it's supposed to, and with the features that it's supposed to have in the time that you're supposed to do it. Yes.
Okay. The features that you're supposed to have in the time that you're supposed to do it. Is that correct, Madam Khadija?
Yes, something like that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's have just one more person.
Why answer this now?
Hello. Can
Hello.
I speak? Funsho Alabi. Hello.
Okay. Who is speaking?
Funsho Alabi is my name.
Okay, Mr. Funsho, over
Can
to
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mr.
Okay.
Funsho.
Okay. When we talk about project management, we look at that there must be a project to take off, that is to kick off. So, like my brother have rightly said before, every project has a beginning and it has end. And the major technicality about the project management itself is the coordinating of the project itself, making sure that one does not exceed the time. One does not exceed the time. The management of the time, the management of the resources that will make the project itself come to the reality. Like in this project management, we have what we also call what we look at in terms of the program of works that will help us to make sure that within so time, this project is moving and the return on investment for the purpose of that project is achieved. So when we look at this, when we talk about project management, there must be beginning, that is the starting point, and at the end point. Having considered this very one I mentioned, then the coordinating of the project itself, managing the project, because there might be some that is likely there might be some area that you need a specialist, which one as a project manager needs to manage. So when we talk about project management, we are looking at there must be a project that has starting date and also have end date. Having considered this, like I said, then there must be need to coordinate the project itself to make sure that we have the right landing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Funsho.
Hello?
Okay, somebody sent a message here. Okay, Mr. Deyanju said project management is defined as an application that, as defined as an application which define a temporary endeavor undertaken by an individual which has a start and end. The management aspects involve act of coordinating, directing, monitoring, and directing of the temporary endeavors. Okay. It's all good. Okay, that's very good. As much as possible, I'm not going to give you the shine definition of what project management is. I'll try to explain it just as some of us have been explaining here and there. What is project management? Essentially, somebody mentioned the issue of what a project is. Essentially, a project is whatever you are doing. Whatever you are doing. When you hear the word project, don't think it's until it's a $500 million project done by maybe a Julius Berger, maybe Lagos by the Expressway or something. It's not until you get to that kind of scale that you actually have what is called a project. If you want to relocate your office from maybe Yanopaja to mainland or something, or to island or something, that's a project. If you want to, you have a naming ceremony, that's a project. You have, yeah, there's tons and tons of possible examples. In fact, a lot of what we do are actually projects, as long as criteria are met. Number one, it shouldn't be something that just keeps going. It shouldn't be something, because one of the reasons why we are managing a project is because you want to be able to conceptualize what you want to do. You want to be able to understand what you need to be able to get what you want to do. And then you want to be able to now ask yourself, how do you do it the right way? Getting the right results, using the right resources, achieving satisfaction of your stakeholders. Okay? Achieving satisfaction of your stakeholders. So it can be something open-ended, something you want to do that has some form of clearly stated or loosely defined boundaries of when you want to start and when you want to end. And of course, you want to have some specific endpoints, objective, end goal. This is what I am working towards. Because the idea is you can't manage what you don't know. You can't manage what is not clear. You can't manage what you can't even conceptualize. So for you to be able to manage a project, what it means is you know what you want and you want to put steps in place to take you in the direction of what you want. So what that means is you cannot call something a project if what you want is not clear. Well, when I use the word clear now, not like super, everything has to be extremely, clear. Maybe not necessarily. You are expected to keep moving with whatever little information you have, and then, you keep, it's called progressive elaboration. You have some little information, you want to progress with it. Small, as you move on, you get more information. I'm trying to be less technical. I'm trying to explain in as basic, simple English as possible. Okay, we'll get to the why. First of all, we want to ask ourselves the what. What exactly is project management? And we have explained what a project is, and then whatever you are doing, that you have a specific goal, and to some extent it's not open-ended. You want to start at some point, you want to end at some point, and then of course you are dealing with people, you are dealing with, you need resources, you probably, of course, you need money, maybe you want to buy something or you're not buying something. So this is a fundamental, like an overview of what a project is. And so project management is managing projects. What do we mean by managing projects? Managing projects to ensure you achieve success. What is the meaning of success? Oh, okay, interesting. Let me throw this out. Okay, anybody, what does it mean when you say project success? What's the meaning? Anybody, just raise your hand, I'll call your name. Anybody, quickly, please. Quickly, we're out of time. Just raise your hand. When we say project success, what is the meaning of project success? Okay, Mr. Jawad, over to you, quickly. What does project success mean?
That means the project objectives and goals have been met. Then the project is a success.
The project objectives and goals have been met. Okay. Beautiful. Something is missing. Beautiful. Thank you very much, Mr. Jawad. Okay, another person. Okay, we have Madam Khadija again. Oh yeah, quickly, Madam Khadija.
So when the project goals are met within the time that has been fixed for it.
Okay, you have taken it a little step further. When the project goals have been met within the time set for it. Okay, beautiful.
For it.
Okay, let's just take one more person. Okay, Mr. Samuel. Quickly, over to you, Mr. Samuel. Okay. Mr. Samuel, are you there? Okay, so he's not there. Mr. Abubakar.
Objective and it has been accepted by the stakeholders.
Okay. Mr. Samuel, your connection is a bit poor. You're just breaking up.
Can you hear me, please?
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Baka, I'll come back to you. It seems Mr. Samuel is clear now. Mr. Samuel, you were saying something.
Yes, please. I was saying, okay, project success is when the desired job is complete at the stipulated time and there is client satisfaction.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel. Okay, Abubakar, over to you.
Yeah. So I
Hey,
said,
Abubakar, how do you do?
I'm doing fine.
Great.
I'm
Yeah,
doing
Alpha, I'm listening.
Okay, so once the project has the requirements have been met and it's been accepted by the stakeholders, particularly the project sponsor.
Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. Okay, one of my big madams just sent a message to me. He said, success means that the owner and the client is satisfied. Interesting. Okay, we have Mr. Deojo also saying that the project success is when the goal, the objective, the aim of the project are met within the stipulated time frame. Okay. Okay, Mr. Bankole is saying achieving desired results within stipulated period. Okay, these are all interesting stuffs. These are all interesting stuffs. You see, one very important point I want us to understand. One very, very, very important point I want us to understand is the fact that we are not doing simply because we want to do. We are not doing simply because we just want to get the results. And that is one very important thing we need to understand. We are not just after the result. Yes, we want to get the results. Yes, we want to get the result. Yes, we want to get the result. Of course, we want to get the results. So, but the what matters, the how matters, the when matters, the circumstance matters, the end result, getting satisfaction matters, the resources we need, we use, carrying the right people along, and many, many more. We call these things constraints. There are so many constraints that we need to put into consideration. Okay, some of them, like we have in terms of your budget, how you spend money, in terms of your scope, in terms of the duration of the project, the schedule, your resource use, and many, many other stuff. I will go into this a lot more, but when we get to the why, we are still discussing the what of project management. Let me give you, okay, anyway, don't let me jump. Okay, Mr. Jawad here is saying, okay, Mr. Engineer Henry is saying project success is achievement of milestones within stipulated time, costs, and meeting or exceeding the project scope. Hey, exceeding, that word on the line. Exceeding the project scope to the satisfaction of stakeholders. Engineer Henry, sorry, you don't exceed. We call that terminology, we call that gold plating. Don't worry. Let me, I'll try to be very light on all these technical jargons. We don't exceed. We give what we are supposed to give. Okay, so Mr. Jawad is updating what he said. He said, when the aim and objective of the project have been met on time, within budget, yes, on time, yes, within budget, beautiful, and many more, many more, many more. Okay, let me tell you about something we did recently. I'm sure some of you, I can see so many familiar names here. I can even see some of my guys here. I greet all of you now, my hands in the air. Okay, so we did, there was a skill survey that I conducted. That was, a short while ago, in which we sent a message, we sent a mail out to people to ask us what exactly they regard to be the most important skills, the most important soft skills, the thing they need to be able to radically improve their career, improve their lives, improve what they do, how they do it, and all of that. And a lot of people didn't reply. A lot of people didn't reply. But we got a reply from 111 people, 111 people. So we asked them for top 3. What are the top 3 skills that you think that, okay, if I have this, by God's grace, I should be a better person. If I improve in this, by God's grace, I should be able to, achieve a lot more in life. Would you believe that out of, 111 people, they gave us three skills. And, when we did the analysis, In total, we had 316 skills record from the submission, and 117 of these had to do with project management. 117 of these had to do with project management. You see, there's something I tell people. I say, a lot of us, we think of project management in the direction of the hard skill. When we say hard skill, I mean, people think of it as one very thin, big stuff that is there in the sky, only for those who have 35 years of experience in the industry, something that is so advanced that they only do in NASA, something that people that do all this, maybe like Tesla, sending something to the moon, or building Burj Khalifa. I mean, what's the tallest building in Nigeria, no? Well, let me see. Tallest building in Nigeria. Me, I don't know. But at least I shall know Cocoa House in Ibadan. That's 25 stories. I'm sure we have many more. Do we have any 50-story building in Nigeria? Me, I don't even know. So, but whatever it is, thinking that project management is about construction, or thinking that project management is about, a lot of people have some uninteresting misconceptions about project management. Unfortunately, it's so painful that we are losing out of a very important area of competence that can radically predict how successful or not a lot of people will be in the next few years. We'll discuss. Today is largely an introduction.
Come back, he has started.
Hello.
He has come back, he has started.
Okay. Today is largely an introduction to the introduction. We'll be going into a lot of things tomorrow. But today, let's just introduce myself, maybe get some of us to introduce ourselves, talk about the fundamentals of project management, talk about the what, talk about the why. That's what we are doing today. Okay, so back to my story. I said, we asked them to mention what are the top 3 skills they feel that, okay, with those skills, they'll be able to become radically better people and all of that. So they came back with a long list, a very long list. So we did the analysis and realized that more than half, around 50-something% of those skills are actually skills that are directly related, or directly or indirectly, largely directly related to project management. Either project management as a skill on its own, or the various soft skills that are related to project management. Okay, so can somebody volunteer to read this list to us? Anybody? Just raise your hand and I call your name. Anybody? Okay? Nobody's volunteering. Okay, Mr. Abayomi. Okay. Oh, so many names have called. Okay, let me call somebody who has not spoken so far. Mr. Christopher Adeniji, over to you. Quickly, please. Quickly.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Okay,
Yeah,
the first thing on the list is people and team management.
Beautiful.
The second thing is leadership.
Beautiful.
Next is emotional intelligence skill, negotiation, resource management, risk management, conflict management, time management, communication skills, decision making, strategic thinking, coaching, collaboration, agile, quality assurance, quality control, critical thinking, focus and dedication, interpersonal skill, presentation skill, management skills, planning, motivational skills, networking, effectiveness, execution simplicity, listening, implementation, perseverance, personal management skills, and finally, personnel management.
Thank you very much, Mr. Christopher. You see, I mentioned something earlier. I said I adopted the name Kaizen. Kaizen is a Sino-Japanese word that means continuous improvement. It's a Sino-Japanese word, something from Japanese, blah, 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 that means continuous improvement. And project management is that thing at the core that puts you on the path of continuous growth, puts you on the path, well, of course, a serious person, puts you on the path of always wanting to improve yourself in numerous directions. We'll still come back to all of this, but it's just that it's difficult for me to move ahead without discussing some of what we will still discuss in details later. Okay, now, there was this report from World Economic Forum. There was this report from the World Economic Forum that they had this, they call it the jobs reports, in which they outlined the most important business skills, well, by them, according to them, what they regard as the most important business skills that will be in high demand in this new digital and automated industrial age. So they mentioned, number one, complex problem solving. Is that mentioned complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, people management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, judgment and decision making, service orientation, negotiation, cognitive flexibility. So according to World Economic Forum, they are saying that these 10 skills would make you a future hacker in the direction of your career, in the direction of your business. So, if you look at these 10 skills, what do you see? Can you see a pattern? Okay, let me show you something. Okay, these are just some, trust me when I say some of what is regarded as the essential soft skills of a project manager. Okay, somebody else should read for us. Yeah, anybody, quickly, just read quickly, anybody.
Leadership, team building, motivation, communication, influencing, decision making, practical and cultural awareness, negotiation,
political
and cultural awareness, negotiation, trust building, conflict management, coaching, and leadership.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. You said practical. Did you think that political awareness was out? Is it out of place? Do you think it's not important? It's actually sounding strange. In my trainings, when I discuss these things, some people will be like, political awareness. Are we supposed to join APC or PDP to be a project manager? Oh yeah, quickly, anybody, can you discuss why? Are we supposed to join PDP, APC to be a project manager? What is the context? Why do we think political awareness should be there? Anybody, just raise your hand if you can just discuss this in 10, 15 seconds.
Government policies would influence any other thing you want to do.
Government policy would influence anything you want to do. Okay. I like that angle of political awareness. Okay, any other angle? Okay, Mr. Jawad, over to you.
I believe there is politics everywhere, even in workplaces. So you have to understand the politics or political dynamics where you work in order to influence things or decisions.
Interesting. He says he believes that there is politics everywhere. So, in order to achieve, you should be able to understand the political context of your environment to be able to influence and drive progress. That's another very huge perspective. Mr. Funshaw, you want to say something?
You don't really need to join any political party, but just like he has rightly said that there's politics in everywhere we find ourselves, you need to align yourself with people who has the power, especially the people who have the muscle to take a decision. You need to align yourself with them in order to make your project a reality.
Mr. Funshaw, I want to throw a question at you. Can I proceed?
Did you hear me?
Yes, I heard you, Mr. Funshaw.
Go ahead.
If you are working on a project, or I don't want to use the word project so that people don't think it's something so super big. Okay, you are working on something for one chairman, and the chairman has told you what he wants, but somehow there's a madam who happens to be the wife of the chairman is telling you something different from what the chairman wants. How do you handle it?
Okay. If you look at it, generally women are also like an opportunity. Even if I want to get something, I believe strongly if I get close to the woman, the madam, and I align myself with the madam, I think I've gotten what I need from the oga. I can get that. I will have to align myself with the madam. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Women are highly influential to achieve our goal as a project manager.
Interesting. Okay.
Can I say
Wait,
something
Madam
else?
Khadija, I know you want to talk. Wait.
Can I say something?
I'll come back. I'll come back to you.
Can I say something quickly?
Okay.
I was going to add to probably push what I said earlier a bit forward to say political and cultural awareness would include meeting, satisfying alliance and interest.
Okay.
Because there is always an interest, there is always an alliance. So you must be aware of the dominating or existing alliance and interests while you are managing a project.
Beautiful. I like that angle. Okay. Now, Mr. Emmanuel, can you just do you have another twist? Do you have another perspective to this our interesting circumstance?
Well, I would like to add from my own work point of view.
Okay.
In a case whereby you are a manager, because I work in the telecom company.
Okay.
And this kind of a thing, whereby you are the project manager of a site, you understand? If you are not aware of the political and cultural awareness of that site, I mean the location, you might find it difficult to even perform a basic task, because we have some sites that is peculiar in terms of the area boys that are there. And if we need, like for example, we need diesel for daily operation, day-to-day operation, and that tanker would pass through that area to get to the site. So you managing the site, and okay, you are the project manager given a job to manage the particular site. You are not aware of that. You ask diesel supplier to go and deliver diesel to the site. This area boys, there's nothing that they don't concern them with your project. They can disrupt your whole activities even for the night, and you will run into millions of losses. But for you to be safer side, you just go and meet them. If you are aware by having the project management concept, you are aware of those facts, you go there beforehand, you say to them, and you would have a very cordial relationship with them. Although it might, the way our country is, you might have to spend some money.
Thank you very much.
But
Thank you very much, Emmanuel Ayobami. Okay, before I leave that point, I promise to hear from me, Madam. Okay, Madam Khadija, a representative, come and speak for the wife of the chairman.
Okay. Before I talk about political awareness, I just want to say something about what Mr. Funsho said.
Okay.
Fine, women are influential and all, but then if someone gives you, it's my opinion. I feel if someone gives you a project, the main priority should be the person that owns the project, not your wife or anything. Yeah. Okay. So for me, I think political awareness and cultural awareness is knowing the political and cultural terrain of that area, or whatever you are working on. For example, okay, I'm more of a design person, so I'll speak from that perspective. Say, for example, you are designing something and you're supposed to use for different societies, different colors mean different things. So if you're not aware of that cultural part, in India, white for them is more like a mourning something, and in Nigeria we tend to use black. So if you are designing something and you pick like use different colors, contrasting colors for this different cultural areas. It's going to people, they might not really like what you are working on. So you have to be aware of what that culture says about what you are working on and how it will affect it.
Okay. Anyway, thank you very, very much. All right. Quite a lot of people sent in some stuff. Let me see. Let me just read one or two.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Okay, Mr. Fusha, we're out of time. We are just quickly in 1 minute. Quickly, please.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
No,
Sorry, I just want to respond to what. Okay, just what Madam Khadija have just said. By my profession, I'm a civil engineer, and just because of the way things happen at times, one of my MD sometimes while I was on site, he gave me an assignment, and the wife of the MD told me to take this concrete to a mall where they are building. And if I did not manage that scene and release that concrete and align myself, I would have lost my job. So at times when there is need, yes, because it's just all he needs to do is
you are taking project property to another thing.
No. Hold on, excuse me. No, I'm talking about the nature of the work. The nature of the work at times, because of this politics, the nature of the work I was doing then, the MD himself is the owner of the mall. Are you with me? And I'm not taking it to myself. He's the MD. Because at the end of the day, MD told me that thank God that you release it. He told me in confidence that thank God that you release it. Madam will have said he doesn't want you again. So if Madam said he doesn't want you again, it becomes that I didn't take it to my own house. I didn't use it for my personal use. Though I called him and he said release it for her. So at times these things do happen. Thank you very much. Let me not take much of your time.
Mr. Funshaw, I really like the real life perspective to the thing. You see, some of these questions really don't have a clear-cut answer. And that is one of the reasons why you have to be on top of your game. No matter how well you read, no matter how experienced you are, you would always come across some circumstances that might want to knock you off your feet. What do? You just use whatever you regard to be the best judgment based on your experience, based on what you have read, based on what you think is right. You think, because even look at the case of what Mr. Funshaw just mentioned. There are lots of possible variations to that circumstance that could mean his decision was wrong. And of course, looking at this circumstance, well, it eventually worked out for him well. Anyway, because of time, the point I was trying to raise here is that what we mean as a project manager, we're not talking about one thing. There is no one single thing you are doing that is called project management. And that takes us to the why. The why of project management. Why are we discussing project management? Why do we regard project management to be an important skill? Why do we even regard it to be of importance at all? Because the reality is, if I were to ask all of us here, we have almost 70 people in the room now, out of over 700 that are registered. We've all been managing projects one way or the other. And not every one of us is a PMP. Not every one of us has Prince 2. Not every one of us, even has maybe like a CAPM or something. We really might not necessarily have the certified project managers. Maybe we've never even heard of PMI. We don't even know what Project Management Institute means, or APMG, or any other project management framework. But we've been managing projects. At least, look at Mr. Funshaw here. I don't know if he's certified, but he works somewhere. He has been handling things. At least he handled his naming ceremony. I'll be no be so, Mr. Funshaw. That's so now. You've been handling things. So the question is, why do we need to discuss project management when, even without discussing it, we have been managing projects? So why? Okay, let me just take one or two. We're out of time, but I like to hear from everybody. Okay, somebody who has not spoken. I don't want the regular faces. Somebody who has not spoken. Yeah, quickly. Why? What's the why? Why? Why do we need project management when without it we can do things? We have been doing things. And of course, you would agree with me that it's not like what we've been doing so far we have been failing. Have we been failing? Okay, so then if we've not been failing, then why do we need project management? We've been doing it our own way. And I think we've been getting some result one way or the other. So why do we need project management? Okay, Mr. Bankole, over to you. Quickly, please. 2 minutes.
I think we do project management to save time and to save cost, and also to achieve the best in what we do.
Save time, save costs, achieve the best in what we do. Okay. Yes, you have spoken a good, you have said it well, but there's a missing angle to it. The question I'm asking is, we all do it. We all do it, yes. Okay, ASU is on strike. Schools are shut down. You have somebody, Mr. Fusho's son wants to get back to school. Okay, sorry, ASU has just called off strike. These universities have just resumed. Okay, the school has just resumed, and you want to get your son back to school. Okay, is that a project? Let's take that to be a project. Okay, the goal is to get your son back to school. So you need to come up with a cost. You need to get school fees. You need to fund this, manage your uncertainties around this. Is the school safe? Has the school been disinfected? Has this been done? Has this been done? Okay, you also want to look at your stakeholders. What of your friends? Are they in school? What of your this? Are they in school? So there are tons and tons of things around this. Okay, looking at this small example I just gave now, you don't need to go and get project management certification to do this. We've been doing these things here and there. In our offices, we've been doing these things. So why do we need to learn project management when we have been managing projects in one way or the other? Okay, Engineer Henry. Okay, he has not spoken. Yeah, let's hear from him. Quickly, please. Engineer Henry, are you there? No, you are not. Okay,
Good evening.
Mr. Joshua. Okay, Engineer is there now. Okay, yeah, quickly, please, 2 minutes. Okay.
The process, projects. So what you did today, so you need to continually study project management for you to be able to come up with an optimized process.
Sorry, I did not hear you well. I don't. If you mind just repeating yourself.
Hear me now, please.
You are breaking, seriously. Just try. Just
Can
say
you hear me now, please?
Yes. Proceed. Quickly.
Okay. I said we study or we embark on project management for us to continually improve on the process, because in project management there are uncertainties associated with projects. So what you did the first time, it might not be the same thing you get the second time. So you need to continually improve for you to get desired results. That's why we study project.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Joshua. Yeah, that's all. Quickly, 2 minutes. Quickly.
I would, from my own point, I would say project management is about integration, and integration has to do with, because project is dynamic and you need different people to do different tasks. So we need to study project management so that we can deal with everybody accordingly and to get the right result at the right time.
Okay. Thank you very much. But the angle I want has not been addressed. Let me see. Let me just take one more. Let me just take one more. Maybe I might be able to get my angle. One more. Anybody? Okay. Seems like everybody has gone to watch network news. So. Okay, Madam Khadija, over to you.
Hello. Okay, so we manage projects so that we can, like we already said, like what project management is. So we manage projects so that we can achieve the specified goals within budget, around the time, and to make sure that within budget and within the specified time, so that we can achieve our goals. That's the point. That's the why.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Maybe my question was not clear. Okay, now
Okay,
let me
I
rephrase my
think
question. Okay, Mr. Jabir, is that you?
yes, that's me actually. So one thing I've noticed, I'm a software engineer by profession. One thing I learned over the years is that um, at certain point in our career, we just have to manage a project. And if we know that is something that we have to do in our lives, then we might as well better off go and learn how to do it in a better way so that we come up with something that is effective in short period of time and without wasting a lot of resources. I think this is
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you
for
very
me,
much.
this is one of the reasons why we should
Manage projects. All right, all right, all right, all right. Thank you very much. We have 30 more minutes. Okay, yes. Let me reverse it a little bit. Let me reverse a little bit. I want we have just 30 more minutes. Okay. We've all said so many stuffs about project management. We've talked about so much about project management, and they are all correct. Most of it are actually correct. But the point here I want us to understand is, I said earlier, a lot of us already manage projects. A lot of us, either in our personal lives, in our careers, in our businesses, we manage projects. It's just that these things don't get to be called projects. You know, project, you think it has to be something that would have a particular IP address, p.r.o.j. Or maybe something that necessarily has to have a label that is called project. No, we all manage projects one way or the other in whatever we do. So the question is, why is it important for us to learn project management and not do it the normal way, conventional way? I call it common sense approach to project management. So what exactly, why do we need to do this thing? Because we've been managing projects. Yes, we are talking of project management. Why do we want to go and learn project management when we could use our common senses? Is there a gap? What is the gap? All right, because of time, let me just discuss this. We all manage projects one way or the other in what we do. I call this the wear belle face approach to managing projects. That is, you just want to rely on common sense. Common sense is good. Common sense is good. At least common sense is that thing that can get you out of danger, pending when the right tools and techniques come. Yes. But of course, keep seeking for the right tools and techniques so that you can keep refining the common sense. So common sense approach to project management is what a lot of us just do. We just do it. Okay. You don't need somebody to tell you that you don't want to overspend. You don't need somebody to tell you that you don't want to spend more than necessary, spend more time than necessary on whatever you are working on. You don't need somebody to tell you that you're supposed to conserve resources and not be wasteful in handling what you do. Of course, you don't need anybody to tell you all of this. So in whatever you are doing, one way or the other, you are, even if it's just by intention, you are probably already moving in this direction. But there is a catch. The catch to it is you have the option to keep trying to do things your own way, to keep trying to reinvent the wheel. You have the option to keep making the same mistakes people have made several years ago and they've corrected. They've written books on, conferences have been done, people have come together to agree on better ways of doing things. They've formed frameworks, they formed standards, principles around better ways to do things. Then you have established tools and techniques to be able to ensure you achieve success, to be able to ensure you have a higher chance of achieving success. That's a better way of saying it. So you have the option of leveraging established frameworks. Because like I keep telling people in my trainings, I tell them that the PMBOK guide, the PMI standard to project management is not too far away from common sense. But I call it reinforced common sense. I call it common sense plus plus. Why do I call it? There's somebody disturbing us. Okay? Why do I call it common sense plus plus? It is because these things are not, they're not scripture. They're not cast on stone. Because if they are cast on stone, why would they need to be updating it? Why would they need to be changing it? Today is October 8th. We are less than October, November, December to January. We are less than 3 months away from a mega update in the PMP syllabus. So if you want to write PMP, write it very fast. If you're on the fence, leave the fence and write it very fast. Syllabus is changing by the end of this year, by June 2 of next, by July 2, sorry, January 2 of next year. So why do they need to keep changing these things? Simply because it's not really cast on stone. It's just me and you, professionals all around the world, coming together to say, this is what works in Brazil. Okay, you in Canada, how do you do your things? Okay, you in the Middle East, how do you do your stuffs? Okay, you Africans, how far? How does this work? And then you come together to now have a common ground, a base from which you can actually have a lot of fundamental, like a framework from which you can now adapt, like a framework from which you can now grow, like a framework from which you can, like a kickstart, like an head start for you to be able to say, okay, let's progress. So there's no point trying to reinvent the wheel when somebody has done something and you can leverage on. In fact, let me also say this, that one of those things that make a project manager stand out from a quack or any other person across the street is that a project manager understands very well the importance of managing knowledge. The project manager understands very well the importance of leveraging existing knowledge and documenting. I remember I think that was it last year or 2 years ago? I had an event in Facebook, that NG Orb in, is it Yaba? Yes, in Yaba. And then I was discussing an important technique, something that we do in business. It's called systemization. It's called systemization. Systemization essentially is that, is it a process? It's not a process. It's like a system. It's like a way of doing things, a way of managing, a management style in which you want to take knowledge away from the heads, not away per se. You want to duplicate or document the knowledge that is in the heads of people. Put it, written down. That's called systemization. Such that 3 people doing the same thing will do it the same way. Of course, I'm not talking about the creative industry now. I'm talking about organizations that need some level of repetitive consistency in what they do. For example, you cannot imagine that Toyota, for example, will produce a car, a particular model of a car, and then out of, let's say they produce 1,000, and then you have each of them having different specifications. One of them having a 10 centimeter for something, another one having 10.2 for something, another one having 10.7 for something, another have 10 points. You get that kind of thing. So the way they fight things like this is by having standards, is by having their processes well documented. I'm not here to talk about systemization, but the point I'm trying to drive at is when you have your things well documented, well written out, you are on the path to a lot of, taming chaos. You're on the path to a lot of consistency that can bring a lot of success for you. I was talking about project management, and the point I'm driving at here is when you leverage on standards, on tools, techniques to be able to fast track your growth, to be able to increase probability of success, to be able to ensure you are standing on the shoulder of giants. If somebody has conducted the research, there is the data of the research. You don't need to go and start your research from scratch, except of course there's a need. Maybe you realize that there's a gap in the way that was done and you want to do your own again. Why don't you pick up from where that person has stopped and then you want to extend, then you want to adapt. So that's the whole essence of project management. We all manage projects. How can we learn how the professionals are doing it? And then pick from them, pick lessons from them. And one thing I keep telling people is, if you think project management is only for the big boys, you are making a very big mistake. A very, very, very big mistake. Project management tools and techniques consist of tons and tons and tons of lessons for me and you and everybody to improve what we do. Whatever you do, I don't care. Whatever you do, I don't care. Whatever you do, project management has tons and tons of tools and techniques that will be able to make you better. You know the catch? There's something I tell people in my trainings. I tell them that if at the end of my training, if you're a male, you are married, your wife does not notice something has changed in you, then you probably should ask for a refund. Because it is impossible for you to internalize the principles of project management and the way and your relationships don't change. The way you handle your relationships don't change. I tell my participants that if your boss in your office or your colleagues in your office, you don't need to tell them you are doing project management. The fact that you are doing it should already have a direct implication in beautifying what you do. If nobody has come to you to say, what has changed? The way you approach matters has changed. What changed? What's different about you? If nobody has said that, then it means there's a problem. You probably should ask for a refund. So it's just like you want to enter like a room that has different jewelries, different this and that, and you want to pick. There's so much to pick from. There's so much to pick from. And then you want to pick from all of these things to improve yourselves. Personal effectiveness, that's part of what you're supposed to pick out of the huge tools and techniques you have in project management. One of those things I tell people a lot is, we all want to be organized. There's so much of chaos in the world today. If you have the skill of being able to organize things, you will stand out. Let me take that again. There's so much of chaos today. If you have the skill, look at the list we saw earlier. People management was one of them. There's hardly any listing. The listing I showed us before was the listing from, what was that? World, who can remind me? Okay, World what? World Economic Forum, yes. So this is a listing from World Economic Forum. If you Google this, there are many other people who have lists of what they think are the skills you need to be able to be a better person in the coming future. But check all of them. People management is always one of the top that you need to have. And this is one of those things that you necessarily have to develop as part of being a project manager. So you want to be more organized, you want to be more structured in your thoughts and your actions. You want to be professionally mature in the way you manage endeavors, manage your projects, your activities, and whatever you do. There's one more misconception I want us to discuss. A lot of people think project management is only when you are dealing with big projects. Okay, let me just ask one or two people. Is that correct? Do we only talk about project management when we are talking about very big projects? Let me quickly point out something. When you are managing small things, it is very easy to get away with mediocrity. When you are managing small things, it is very easy to get away with mediocrity. And that is the reason why a lot of people might not understand the importance of project management, maybe because they may only be managing small things. So the fault lines might not really be too, catastrophic, disastrous. Maybe somebody managing a project that the whole budget of the project is maybe 500,000, 200,000. If something happens, you waste some little money, maybe you really might not understand the difference. You really might not feel it, But we are dealing with something that is bigger, that is larger. The fault lines show. The consequences become huge. They become, more expensive to make mistakes. You cannot expect somebody building let's say, you're working on a project that has a very huge budget. They wouldn't want to take chances. Maybe when you're doing something small, you might afford to take some chances. Okay, for example, I use the example of maybe somebody building a BQ and somebody building like Orlando Towers in VI. I think that has like, is it 12 floors or 13 floors? I can't remember. So you cannot expect the kind of tools and techniques that you would use when you are building a BQ. You can definitely not compare that to these tools and techniques you need when you want to build something that is a lot bigger. Okay, you want to manage an outreach program to maybe 500 people. And then can you compare that to the tools and techniques you need to manage an outreach program, maybe continent-wide kind of outreach that you need to mobilize across different countries, across different, states and all of that. So, sorry, Mr. Bayomi, kindly mute. Okay? So, the why, summarily, we have just 18 more minutes. I've not taken questions, okay? I'll take questions shortly. The summary of the why. Sometimes in one of my previous trainings, somebody said, we manage projects. Mr. Bayomi, I'm muting you. Somebody said, we manage projects to reduce the possibility of a project failing to the barest minimum, to increase the chances of success despite the project odds, the various project odds. Yes, of course, that makes sense. That makes sense. But on top of that, we are interested in why, we're interested in the what, we're interested in the who, we're interested in the when for whatever you are doing. It's not just about getting the results. We want to get the key results. So I'll move into question and answer now. So far, the most important thing I want us to take out of today's session is that, of course, we've been able to, do a quick overview of the fundamentals of project management. And then, importantly, we've been able to, just scratch the importance, the relevance, the significance of actually using the right tools and techniques for what you do. Tomorrow, we will now go deep to now start picking what we regard as the gems of the world of project management. What I mean by the gems here are what I call low-hanging fruits. Some things we can immediately pick and take out of this training and go and implement and, of course, radically improve in what we do. If you underestimate the importance of project management, you are losing out. You are losing out because I had a session with Business Day last week, Saturday. The title, the theme for the discussion, it was a live program. The theme for the discussion was project management, a potential superpower. A potential superpower. Yes, that is it. Project management is a potential superpower. Is that skill that can radically change a lot of what you do, radically change a lot of how you do your things. Please understand the fact that there's so much happening in the world right now. Change is occurring now at a pace, at a speed that the world has probably never experienced before now. What this means is that a lot of the tools and techniques, a lot of what we do, a lot of our careers, a lot of our knowledge that we have up till this point is unfortunate to tell us that a lot of these things will not be relevant maybe 10 years time, maybe 15, maybe 20, maybe 50, maybe 5. A lot of the degrees some of us do in school today are of really no serious use. I remember reading an article recently that it's of no use to be asking children to memorize multiplication table anymore. Well, that is subject to debate among the educationists. But the point I'm driving at is a lot of what we do today will not be relevant going forward because how things are done, it will be changing significantly. A lot of professions would have to change. Doctors, lawyers, a lot of these things. Artificial intelligence will change a lot of what we do, the blockchain technology, and many more things. We have access to so much information. The world needs organizers. The world needs managers. The world needs people who can drive change. if you are able to get the right tools and the right mix of the tools and techniques, wherever you are, whatever set of chickens you are among, you would be an eagle. You would rise far ahead of them. If you can develop the right tools and techniques, project management sits at the core of what you need to develop. Not project management as project management now. I'm not talking about the hard skills of project management. I'm talking about the hard and soft skills and the related skills around project management. This is a gold mine that we can improve upon to, of course, have the ripple effect in all what we do. I would pick up from here tomorrow by God's grace, 8:30 p.m. at the same time. So we have like 13 more minutes. Let's just take some 3-4 questions before we call it a day. So the floor is open now. Just raise up your hand, just signify, and I'll call you to say your question. Quickly, quickly, quickly. No question, right? Hello? Okay, Mr. Jawad, over to you.
Sir, in your experience, why do you think projects fail?
That one is, you can't get a PhD to answer that question. Why do projects fail? That's a very, very big one. Projects fail because of 1,000,001 reasons. Answering that question is similar to the question of saying, why do humans fall ill? So, why do humans fall ill? There are 1,000,001 reasons why humans could fall ill. But the core reason why we fall ill is because there is an imbalance in the system. Maybe too much of something, or something is not enough, or you have excess of something. That's like the well, I'm not a medical practitioner, so I hope the doctors in the house will forgive me. But my own understanding of why we fall ill as a generic response to why we fall ill is there's an imbalance somewhere in the body, either originating from inside or from something outside the body. So if I bring that explanation to why projects fail when the complex interplay of the various constraints that you need that come together that necessarily need to be managed well. If there's a fault line in one or more of the complex interplay, it could lead to projects failing. So this can now be broken down into 1,000 or 1,000,001 explanations. But the core of this, projects could fail as a result of so many reasons. Because you are dealing with a lot of things, a lot of variables. Some of them are in your control, some of them are not in your control. And that is the reason why risk management is something. Please, even if you will not do project management, risk management is something you want to go and master. And of course, when I say master, you have to keep improving yourself. You have to keep growing, the Kaizen, continuous improvement. Mastering the world of uncertainties is one of the core reasons why you manage projects. In my trainings, I tell people something. I say proactivity is the hallmark of a project manager. Proactivity is the hallmark of a project manager. What is proactivity? Proactivity simply means being able to foresee, pre-think, see ahead of time, and put the right things in place such that you are not caught unaware. And that is what the project manager is supposed to be. If you are in a situation whereby you are always putting out fires, question your competency in managing projects. Question your competency in managing anything. Let me give you an example. Maybe you have like a party now. Let me use the conventional example that a lot of people will be able to relate with. Imagine you go for a wedding ceremony, and then there and then the speaker did not work. Why? They didn't test well. Okay. Food was not enough. Why? They didn't. They really did not have any clear idea of who is coming or who is not coming. Okay. What else? Okay, maybe you are in Lagos now. The bridegroom did not arrive on time. Why? They didn't factor in that there's a road construction going on and there will be delay in. There will be traffic. See, some of these uncertainties is possible for you to envisage. Some of them is not possible for you to envisage. So there are tools and techniques you use to manage all of these things. So proactivity, like I said, is the so why I got here. I just use risk management as just one, like a case study of possible reasons why projects could fail. Look at COVID, for example. Could there have been anybody who would have had the slightest idea that COVID would have been this disastrous on the whole mankind? There's a difference between the effect of COVID and then the duration. As there really, well, in my little years I've spent on hearts, I'm not aware of any time in history that something at this scale worldwide would be able to hold the whole world down this much. So that's it. This is something that you did not envisage. How do you manage them? Okay, what you envisage, how do you manage them? So there are tools and techniques you use. So projects fail sometimes because there's a gap in the knowledge of project manager, sometimes in the gap in the knowledge, maybe the skill set of the knowledge project manager, or probably it just fails because there are some circumstances outside the control of the project manager that will not enable the project manager to be able to do the right thing. And please understand that failure, even the word failure itself has different meanings. Is it failure as a result of not getting the results? Or failure in the direction of not getting the right results? Or failure in the direction of not getting the result using the optimal resources? And many more, many more. So that question is too broad, but I've just tried to give a little perspective to it. Yes, okay. The next question, Madam Khadija, over to you.
Okay. Thank you for the amazing session at all. Thank you very much. So I have two questions. The first one is not really a question, it's more like I'm seeking clarification for the first part. You said, okay, I actually understand from the definition of a project that each project is unique and you are bringing in different, like you're going to, they have different ways of managing them. But then are we going to say because there are different projects, so there are some things that will, let's say for example, people management will actually be an important part for every project management. So we're going to say we're bringing in different skills for different projects or going to be managing. And then my second question.
No, sorry, take the first question again. I'm not clear. I really don't understand.
Okay. Different projects, they are unique and all of that. But then, like, are we saying, because they are unique, are we saying the project management skills that we're going to need for some projects are going to be different from some projects? Like
Interesting question.
Skills, yeah, kind of. Then the second one is, do I have to be like well grounded in a specialization or a career path to be able to manage a project in that part? Like for example, I'm a civil engineering student, and say to some extent, I can say I know about civil engineering, and then someone calls me to come and manage a fintech project, and there are developers that know their onions on that project, but I'm not really a fintech person. Can I manage that kind of project?
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Yeah, let me start with the first question. The first question is talking about okay, that there are different projects, they are unique. Do I need different skill sets to manage them? Because you're a madam, I will use an example that you'll be able to understand very well. Okay, Madam Khadija, look at it this way. The skill sets that you need to be able to prepare pounded yam and edikaiko, is it the same skill set you need to be able to prepare noodles? Madam Khadija, what's the answer to that question?
Well, I don't know. Well, I'll never.
Do you agree that both of them are cooking, right?
I guess you.
Yes, they are both cooking, but it's not.
To some extent, you're actually cooking something.
You're actually cooking something. They're actually both cooking, right? But
Yes.
the skill set you need when you want to prepare pounded yam is different from the skill set you need when you want to do noodles. It's different from the skill set you need when you want to prepare gari. I mean, gari too is a form of mini cooking now. At least you put gari, you get water, you get plates, a big cup, you put granite, you put this and that. You understand? So for gari, maybe you need mixing skill, right? For pounded yam, what do you need? You need a pounding skill. But is it really pounding? Strategic pounding. Kudos to our Ekiti people. I mean, you need strategy. It's not just pounding. It's not just kind of stuff. So you need strategic pounding skill. You understand? And then for noodles, something else. Okay, so the point I'm driving at is that, let me go back to what I said earlier. Project management is a potential superpower. You are like the Nigerian army. Or maybe I should use Nigerian army because maybe you don't like them. They don't have so many weapons. Let me use the US army. In your armory, you have different types of weapons, ammunition. Even when you say bullets, well, I'm not in the military, but at least from the little we know about guns, you know that even bullets, there are different sizes. There is the different size of the bullet that will be in pistol. There is different size of bullet that will be inside that gun that you mount at the back of pickup. You know, and many more stuffs like that. And then when you leave gun, you now go to missile. There are different types of missiles. Then when you now come to vehicles, different kinds of vehicles. The point I'm driving at here is the armory of the US Army has different tools, different techniques, different methodologies, different approaches, different standards, different ways of doing things, different weapons, different ammunition, different types of ammunition. So the kind and the nature and the context and the circumstance of the battle, of the fight they want to go into will determine what they will pick from their armory to go and fight. Okay, some boys are causing problem at Oshodi. Oh yeah, the police, they cannot handle it. Oh yeah, Nigerian army, go and handle it. Of course, you agree with me that for that kind of situation, they probably would not deploy intercontinental ballistic missile. Abi, do you think so? They will fire intercontinental ballistic missile to go and disperse protesters. They probably wouldn't. Neither would they go and bring armored what they call this vehicle that has jaga leg like this. The armor tank, the armor tank. Well, maybe they might even use armor tank, maybe because maybe it's getting violent and all of that. The point I'm driving at is that project management is like a body. It's like a vast ocean with different types of fish coming in different sizes. So you are supposed to now have the professional competency to be able to size up an endeavor and know the right tools and techniques to use for it. There's a technical term for this. It's called tailoring. Project management has tons and tons of knowledge areas: scope management, integration, cost management, quality management, communications management, risk management, procurement, stakeholder, schedule. One more. What's that? Scope management. You understand? There are 10 of them. There are 49 processes. There are 10 knowledge areas. There are process groups. There are this, there are that. You should be able to know which ones to use. And for every single one of these things I mentioned, risk management, scope management, Each of them are like planets. They are worlds on their own. They are worlds on their own. You should be able, that's why you have to keep learning, continuous improvement. You have to keep learning. You have to keep enhancing yourself. You have to keep growing. Resource management, I forgot that earlier. Resource management, Yelason, is like, it's like if others are like Earth, Mercury, resource management is like Jupiter. Because under resource management, you are talking of your human resources, your material resources, your equipment, and tons of that. Managing resources is at the heart of project management. Because you want to ensure you are able to get success being efficient and effective as much as possible. So this now comes in different directions. And then look at the tons and tons and tons of soft skills. Do you understand that leadership alone, leadership has different forms, different brands, different models, different tools, techniques, lots and lots under it. And you are expected to know the right leadership style to use in the right circumstance. Do you understand that there are some countries in the world that if you give them democracy, there will be chaos? What they want to grow is military. If you give them democracy, you are just deceiving yourself. And the interesting thing now, you now have something called situational leadership, in which the same leader must be able to know when to throw one card, when to throw another kind of card, when to throw another kind of card. In the morning, you can use a particular kind of maybe autocratic. You need to stamp your feet now. If you don't, there will be chaos. Now, stamping the feet is what needs to be done. In some other circumstances, maybe just in another 10 minutes time, stamping the feet might not be the best thing to do. You probably need to just sit down and let people do their own way. So all of these things are not, well, maybe some people by virtue of their personality, maybe they might have some of these things naturally, but these are things that could be learned. Of course they could be learned. Of course they could be learned. I'm also learning. I'm on the path of learning. It is part of learning that actually got me to go and join John Maxwell. I joined his team. I paid a lot of money to join his team. And I'm still learning. The John Maxwell Library, Leadership Library, is like a mini YouTube. When you just go there, you just be confused. Oh my God, where do I even start? And I keep trying to learn. I'm also on the path. I tell people that project management, PMP certification, at best, maybe you're at 5% of what you need to know to be a project manager. 5%. And I'm being generous here. Even if you're a PMP, project management professional, you hold the most prestigious project management certification anywhere on planet Earth. At best, you know 5% of what you need to do to be a good project manager. As a result of, I'm talking about the content of the PMP syllabus. 5% max. 5% max. You have to keep growing. You have to keep learning. You have to keep improving. You have to keep looking. What's the latest? What's happening? Okay, these soft skills. Look at the soft skills I showed us earlier. Tell me, at what point in your life will you now say, I have learned all about team building. I'm now a master team builder. I'm at the top. I don't need to learn again. Now lie. You're deceiving yourself. You keep learning because circumstances keep changing. New things keep coming up. I need to keep, models now, mental models. You need to keep thinking of mental models. Okay, how does this relate to this? Okay, fine, this is good, this is good. What of when this comes together with this? What happens? New circumstances keep coming up, and you need to keep coming up with models of how to actually win. Communication. Even if you're a professor of communication in school, that doesn't mean you're a good communicator. Even if you win the best public speaking in the world, you are not at the peak. It's a process. All of these things are processes. They are journeys. It's a journey you keep trying to improve on. I think I've over-explained that already. What's the second question, Seth? I've forgotten. Madam Khadija.
It's about
Have I answered your first question?
Yes, thank you very much. So the second question is about managing projects that you're not really well grounded in. Like, there's a career path here. It's not what you do.
Beautiful. Yes. Now I remember. You see, one thing I can tell you about that is that management generally has some basic principles that are generic, regardless of whatever you are doing. Regardless of whatever you are doing, there are some generic principles that you need to know, that you can use, that wherever you are, whatever you are doing, those tools, those principles would work. So the application of those principles might now differ by nature of whatever we are doing. I belong to the school of, look at, there are some roles that are purely administrative. And that is the reason why you can find someone like, look, I'm trying to remember the name of a minister of Nigeria. Someone like Fashola, yes. Babatunde, what's that RJSF? Babatunde, is it Rauf? Yes, Rauf Fashola. Please remind me, is he not a son?
Raji.
Raji Fashola.
Yes, is he not a son? Please remind me, which ministry is he heading again, sir?
Power.
I beg. Is he not a son? This is a lawyer. You can imagine. He's a lawyer. He's not an engineer.
No,
And yet he's heading that ministry.
Is in housing.
Okay, is it housing? Okay,
Yes,
in
it's
the
in
previous administration, it was in power, housing, and something. What's that third
And
one?
something, yes.
It's in both. It's in workers and housing.
Okay, works and housing. Whatever. The most important thing is he is not an engineer. Of course, the engineers can crucify me and say, he did not perform. Well, that one is for, let's leave that to the politician. The point I'm driving at is some things are generic. They are generic. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, they are generic. Just like project management. Project management is super generic. Whatever you are doing is super generic. But of course, those who understand the core of what they are doing, it is believed that there is a possibility, not that word, there is a possibility that they will be able to perform better than somebody trying to use generic principles. If you understand the generic principles and you understand the contextual behind the scene for those principles and how they apply to what you are doing, there's a possibility that you have a higher chance of success than somebody who just wants to come and use generic principles. But please, it's possibility. There's a thin line between all these things I'm saying. There's a very, very thin line. It's a very, very thin line. The fact that you bring a doctor to head the Ministry of Health does not mean that things will go well. It doesn't mean an engineer cannot perform that role better. Please don't crucify me. That's my opinion, and the opinion of a lot of other experts too. This is a position that is subject to a lot of debates. A lot of debate. Look at last dispensation when Barrister Shitu was the head of communications ministry. Anyway, don't let's go into political matters so that we don't make the class very, very rowdy. So answering your question, yes, if you understand management, you can use your generic principles to perform wonders anywhere. But someone who understands the reason behind, who understands the back end, somebody who understands what is in my village, they will say something that is under the leaf, if you understand that, there is a possibility that you will be able to interpret some terminologies better. There's a possibility that you will be able to apply some principles in a better way. Don't forget I mentioned the fact that all these things are generic principles. You are expected to extend. You're expected to apply. You're expected to adapt. So the more you understand the contextual situation of what you are doing, you are in a better position to adapt in a better way, in a magical way. But the generic principles take you very, very far into what you need to be able to do. I think that's my best way of answering that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's just take 2 more questions. I call it a day. It's past 10 already. Okay, Mr. Funshaw, you have a question.
Yes, thank you very much. Please, I will be, my question may go in segment. Please, I want you to bear with me. Number 1, from your experience, since you have been taking this as a trainer in PMP professional, I would like to know how people respond, especially one from the government. Do government people, for example, politicians, for example, people who work with federal government, how are they performing? How are they participating in PMP or PMI? How is oil and gas in terms of numbers? How is contractor staff, that is individual contractor? What is the how are they coming in? Because looking at it from a different perspective, I feel that if our government, maybe if they have been patronizing and be participating in PMP, peradventure maybe Nigeria will have been a better country today, more than the way we are now. But I would like to know, what is the statistic of the people response participating in PMP in terms of coming to learn, doing the exam? That's that. Then I also want to know, when it comes to this PMP as a body in terms of PML, I also want to know, do our government, Nigeria government, let me be precise, do Nigeria really appreciate this? I want to know whether did they really feel that this, there are some questions I intend to ask which you have answered. For example, some in Abuja in the conference, and he was invited to come and take some paper. And to me, I came out there and I told them that, well, I thank you, but politically I am not. Hello, politically I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed, because if somebody who has knowledge about PMP is the one standing today, or engineering standing today, managing our project, I will be more, if the person failed, I can crucify him, I can stand anywhere and tell him that you have failed, that your 5 years in university is a way. Who does not pass, who doesn't care than maybe just signature and managerial. I really want to know. So that if I'm talking with people outside also, I want to get it and say, look, if you as a politician, if you can do PMP, I think it's going to help you in your career. Thank you very much.
Mr. Funsho, you have touched on some very important points.
Yes.
Let me correct a perspective today, Mr. Funsho. The problem of Nigeria, go and take this today. In my humble opinion, the problem of Nigeria is not a problem of competency. It's not a problem of degrees. It's not a problem of certifications. When you read the profile of some of these politicians, you will marvel. Take your time. I'm giving you this challenge now. Take out, today is Thursday. By Saturday or Sunday this weekend, pick any 5 politicians. Even if it's just Wikipedia or any other source that you can find. Read about. Have you read the profile of even Dino Melaye? Take some time and go and read. These people have shiny degrees. These people get degrees, they attend courses in the highest places across the world. The problem of Nigeria is not a certification problem. It's not a degree problem. It's not a knowledge problem. It's not a competency problem. We have some of these professionals who have spent decades abroad, who understand perfectly how things should be. But our problem, don't let SSS come and carry me like this.
Okay, if that be the case, I also
okay, is that it's not a knowledge problem. They know these things very well. They know it very well. That's my, well, I'm not saying everybody knows it. What I can tell you is most of them know these things. They know what is right. Okay, let me give you an example. Somebody who is corrupt. Okay, if you are a telecommunication person, let me give you this example. I didn't introduce myself too well. I coach project management, but that's not my job. I'm not a coach. I'm not a teacher. Well, I teach, yes, I coach, yes, but it's by the side. My main stuff is IT. I build solutions. I run an IT firm. That's what I do. That's my normal stuff. So you get my point. So I coach by the side. I coach because I enjoy it a lot. If you don't stop me, I can keep talking for the next 10 hours. I like it a lot, but I know I have to stop. I can keep talking. I like it, So what I'm driving at is oh my God, we're out of time. Let me just stop at that. Your second question here says, okay, did I note it down? Statistics, recognition. I think I've answered that because of time. What's the second question?
No, I was trying to know that oil and gas, how are they participating? Government parastatal, single one-man business. What is their number in terms of participation in this profession?
One thing I can tell you for sure is that you can't compare the public sector to the private sector. In the private sector, they understand clearly the importance of conserving resources because they want to maximize profits. And maximizing profits directly ties into you being able to manage your endeavors professionally. You would not find people joking with these things. And those who joke with it, of course, they get their fingers burnt. So when you talk about these big organizations, these people do these things massively. I can't count the number of people from the oil and gas industry that I have personally trained to get the PMP certification. There are so many of them. You understand my point. So in terms of the public sector, well, in terms of one-man businesses here and there, I don't know. I can't speak for them. It's a function of the exposure of the key people in the firm. But for big organizations, they don't joke with things like this. They don't joke with things like this. Don't forget what I said. Some of these people who do big stuffs. Oh my God. I just wanted to tell you a story now, but let me just stop. We'll talk more tomorrow. Answering your question, the public sector, that one is unfortunate that our public sector is not driven primarily by competency. It's not driven by skills and all of that. So I think in their own case, it might not be so much of emphasized, especially in some general areas. But specific areas of maybe engineering, projects, works, and all of that, they will probably, of course, put a lot of attention to these things. But generally, well, I can't speak for them, but I think the private sector, the public sector needs to do more for the benefit of these things to show around. Yeah, let's take one more question, Mr. Okay, engineering over. Okay, engineering has gone to sleep. Okay, anybody? Just one more question before we call it.
Hello, I've not gone to sleep. Hello.
Okay. Yes.
Hello. This is Henry on the line. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can. Quickly, please.
Okay. My question is this: why is it that most project management training institutes in Nigeria here, why are they always shying away from incorporating CPM, as critical path method, and PERT, PERT, performance evaluation and review technique, in their training? You have a lot of these outfits asking people to come for training, and when you ask them about the curriculum, you discover that the CPM and the PERT, PERT, are not part of the curriculum. That's one. Number two, what efforts have the PMI, Project Management International, domiciled here in Nigeria, what effort have they put in place to ensure that contractors in Nigeria, especially those in road and bridge construction, have actually imbibed the culture of project management? Because if you look at the way our roads are being constructed in this country, you will discover that they don't follow this project management processes or procedures. So what we have as outputs are nothing but inferior road constructions. So those are my questions.
Okay. Okay. Your first question, CPM, PRT. You see, maybe you're overgeneralizing. Maybe you're overgeneralizing. There are different. Project management is wide, and you would go for trainings to get trained about what they tell you they will train you about. You know, so if you are going to get trained about risk management, they wouldn't discuss PRT or CPM. CPM PRT is a concept that is primarily when you are talking about estimation. PRT is a form of estimation, 3-point estimating. Critical path method, that's when you are talking of scheduling. So if you are going for a generic project management, a PMP certification training, I don't want to believe that somebody will skip all of these very important areas. Unless I forget, these two things that he mentioned can radically improve the way you plan. Radically. These are some of those tools we probably might be able to get to. I don't know how much time I would have tomorrow, because it's 1.5 hours, but there's so much to see. It's almost as if this webinar is supposed to be like 1 month. We should be talking every night for 1 month, because there's which direction you want to look. If you look in this direction, you see gold. Look in this direction, you see diamond. These are tools and techniques that I was telling somebody recently about the Ishikawa diagram. As simple as that Ishikawa thing is, you can perform wonders with Ishikawa. You know Ishikawa, fishbone diagram. Anyway, let me get back to the question. CPM, PRT, these are some tools and techniques that you could use when you're doing estimation, when you're doing scheduling. When you go for a proper project management training, you would be taught. You would be taught. So that's that. Then concerning what PMI will do regarding Nigeria, well, PMI is not PMI is not it's not a regulatory body to come and do any serious thing. The best PMI can do is to ensure adherence to standards for its members or for our members. And PMI is quite strict. If you report a project manager, a certified project manager that is doing rubbish, the certification could be withdrawn. So that's the best they can do. So a lot of regulatory issues are to be done by the regulators, government, SON, Ministry of this and that, the right agency and all of that. So they are supposed to be the ones to be in charge of regulation. And I also believe that you understand the politics behind some of the substandard stuff we have in Nigeria. So at this point, I want to thank you all for coming. Well, I want to believe that maybe it was worth your time. Maybe it was worth your time. If you think it was worth your time, then let's meet tomorrow again by 8:30 p.m. So, last thoughts, anybody? Just one person. Somebody just give us what are the last thoughts? What do you want us to take out of today's class? What should we take away from today's class? Just quickly, anybody. Nobody wants to summarize for us.
You should prepare for the future.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That summarizes it all. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Tunde. Thank you, every single person that came here. We are expecting you tomorrow for a continuation when we jump right into the gold and platinum and silver for us to get better. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right. Good night.
Thank you for your time.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night. Bye-bye.